In today's video, we have the Giantex 3-in-1 charcoal smoker and grill. Now, the reason it's 3-in-1 is because you can reconfigure this into different shapes so that way you can do different things. Whether you want a slow smoke or you want to do a hot smoke and cook yourself a pork butt, or if you want to grill some steaks, you can simply take it apart. I'm going to go through it really quick so that way you can see what we have here. Now, of course, we have the standard lid with the adjustable vent on the top and the thermometer and the handle so that way you don't burn yourself. Then you have the next section, which is the middle. I call it the body, and it is a twist and lock. So let's see if we can twist it and remove it just like that. And inside on the very top, we have a grill grate that has these clips that holds it in place. And of course, we have the door in case you need to get into the middle. Then on the bottom section, we have a grill grate with a water pan, and you know how I feel about water pans. So let's just fill that thing up with either sand or lava rocks and wrap it in foil. And then on the bottom, you have your charcoal pan. Now, we will be using this charcoal pan just like normal, but if you wanted to, you could remove this pan and you could put the grill grate right here and you could grill yourself some steaks or some chicken or whatever you wanted. So if you want a one-piece solution, this might be it for you. So let's go ahead and run through the video of what I did earlier when I put this together. We have to do this on the inside today because the weather is horrible outside and the creek is raging, so you wouldn't really be able to hear me. So let's cut to that video. So let's begin the process by opening the box up and spreading the parts around. I have two little tables here that I'm going to use to do that, and then I'll try to get you an image of what we've got. So I've got the whole smoker already opened, and I did put tape on to hide the barcodes and any personal information. So if you see the blue tape, don't be surprised. Now the parts are in here real nice, and they're packed with foam really well. I'm not going to bother to take pictures of this. This is pretty much a kind of just a standard packing job. But I will go ahead and I'll take everything out and I'll lay it down. I'm going to fast forward through that and we'll stop the talking and start the moving. So I have the directions here, and there was a QR code on there, so I had to block that out. But there's a standard expansion blow up right there of the whole smoker, so you can see what's going on. And then you have a parts list here, so you can tell what the parts are and how many of them there are. Real typical stuff. The assembly is basically a picture with the screw numbers. So as you go through it, each picture is pretty much self-explanatory. There is no written directions. So you should be able to figure this out with no problem. I'm not going to go through every single one of these pages, but we will kind of cover the bases. The one thing when I was taking that apart, these were stuck together pretty well, but I think they have to be because they fit inside of each other for the packaging. Everything came in without any dents or scratches or anything. So the packaging itself was great. And I think that those corner foam blocks really sealed the deal to make sure that this smoker got to me in one piece. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to push through some more stuff. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this lid assembled, which is step 1, 2, and 3. So I'll be right back. So assembling the lid was just a 3-step process. First was the handle, then was the vent, and then the thermometer. Now, the handle was a little tricky because it's not completely flush, but it did tighten down well. The vent was super easy, and the thermometer just has a clip ring, so you kind of have to give it a little push, but no problem. So now we're moving on to the body piece assembly, and it looks like the lower one is first with the legs and with the attachments for the shelf holders. So let's go ahead and inspect that and see if we can figure that out a little bit. And this one here has the 2 holes here, so that's definitely where the legs go. So we'll go ahead and we'll get those shelf holders installed first, and then we'll do the legs. So I want to point something out here is that there's a little slot right there, and what it appears is that this slot is supposed to rest right on here. So we set in screws like this, and then that sits on just like this, and we'll put the nuts on the other side. But the idea is that the slot lines up with the bottom there, and then this ends up being an inner tray to hold one of the pans. So I'll go ahead and move on. So I've got the legs on, and I'm going to go ahead and move the tables a little bit more so that way we can get a little bit better look at what I'm doing here. And the next thing calls for the door. And there's 2 different doors, but they do look identical. So I don't think there's going to be any problem with that. And here's what you got here. And then we have a separate bag of really small bolts and nuts. Now, you should get yourself the proper size wrenches. I just brought an adjustable wrench out here, but it's my feeling that you always do everything completely hand tight and then come back after you're done and tighten everything down, unless you have a hidden bolt or something. Sometimes with some of the bigger smokers, like with the Masterbuilt or the Oklahoma Joe Tahoma, that was a real big issue. There was a lot of hidden bolts on the inside that you had to tighten up as you went, but not with something like this. Now we're moving on to the top cylinder. Now there is some little lineup tabs right here, so that way you know where to attach the cylinder, and then just give it a little spin, and then it's connected just like that. Now, we're just going to keep following the directions, but I wanted to put it on here so I didn't have to lean over. Next thing is, it's calling for the clips to hold the shelves in, just like the other one. So I'll go ahead and get those in. It's just simply one bolt, one nut, and we're good to go. I've got all of the shelf clips in, so now what we have is the handles, and the handles are all three the same size. It looks like these ones actually fit a little bit better than the lid. We're going to find out real quick. Just a touch difficult threading in that lid. Just going to get it started there. Then take the other one and get it started before we tighten it down. So I've got the handles on, and that went much easier than the handle on the lid. But again, that's because these are all the exact same size, and the ones on the sides are a better fit than the one on the lid. So don't be surprised. Okay, and we have that and the doors assembled. So now we're ready to move on to the next step. We are just moving right along, and it looks like here, like most of this stuff is just drop in. So now I'm going to go ahead and drop the first bowl in there, and that's going all the way down on the bottom. It'll rest on the legs. And then this, which is a nice touch, is the charcoal grate down on the bottom. Without a grate like that on the bottom, these types of charcoal smoker grills tend not to get good circulation, and the last bit of charcoal will not burn. So if yours is a different model and it doesn't include one of those, you should definitely add it. And we'll go ahead and add this in the middle. It's a nice touch that both of those bowls are the exact same size. I really like that. And then we have two identical grates, one to go down here on the bottom and one to go up near the top. And the little clip here on the side, I'm going to pop a picture up here. And these clips look like they're going to do a really good job of keeping these from shifting around and falling off of the holders, which is another nice thing that I see about this unit. Now, finally, I have the lid here, and I got to tell you that when I looked at the lid, I was like, I feel like something is missing, and there is something missing. These two bars are not called for in the assembly, but what they are is they're two bars that go in here as hanging racks. So you basically will attach those, and there's a couple of screws there, and they go in on there, and then you use the included set of food hooks to hang things, like if you wanted to hang some slabs of ribs Or let's say you wanted to do some small sausages and hang those. You could easily do that, but I'm not going to install this right now. Those are not something that I cook on a regular basis. So here we go, just like that. And these will be exposed holes. So if you don't want those holes exposed, then you'll want to plug those. And the simple way to do that would be to get yourself a couple of bolts and just attach them on there. And then you'll basically be able to cover all of that air output, and you'll be able to control whatever output is from up here. Now again, let me turn that around so you can see that. This here just simply adjusts just like that. Now I'm going to go back through and I'm going to retighten all these a little bit, and then we're going to do an initial seasoning. So as I thought, the noise from outside was just too much. So here we go. I'm taking the smoker apart and I'm going to go ahead and get it loaded up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some charcoal to the smoker. Now what I like to do is put about half of what I want in there so that way I can arrange it manually. And I'm arranging it in what I like to call the wedge. This is similar to a snake, but rather than going around in a circle around the outside, it's just going from the opening to the back, and you kind of make it a little bit larger in the front where the opening is and smaller in the back because you'll have more charcoal briquettes left over. And here's a picture so you can get a really good idea. Then, once I get to the front, I like to place a couple of haystacks in there that you can see in the front of the picture. There they are, and I'm putting them in there. Now, I put a couple of charcoal briquettes on there, and when they're lit, they'll just go ahead and they'll burn right along. Next thing I like to do is I like to add some wood chips. Now, I like to pile the wood chips in a couple of different piles. If you use wood blocks or chunks, you'll also want to separate them because if they touch each other, they'll do what I like to call wicking, which is where they just burn right across. Because the wood actually burns faster than the charcoal, it will end up lighting your whole pile of charcoal rather than doing a slow burn. Next, I take my blowtorch or whatever lighter that you use and light those haystacks up. The blowtorch is just so convenient. You can see there, I was able to just put that torch on there and they were going. Now I'm going to go ahead and let this go for a few minutes here. Basically, I think it was about 5 minutes until those haystacks had got a good light on the charcoal, but you can go ahead and put the smoker together as long as you don't close down any of the air passages. You want the top vent open and that front door open, and maybe even taking the lid off is not a bad idea. You'll see here that I'm going to go ahead and take that lid off and let it get going a little bit. Then we just need to run this and burn it. So we're just about ready to close it down. I do like to make sure that it's going better than worse. And this is just a seasoning, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But what we want to do is we want to target that 250 to 275 temperature range for maybe an hour or a little longer if you can, but don't overthink it. We're just trying to clean off any of the manufacturing oils and get a nice layer of charcoal smoke in there so that way it'll smell and taste really good and it won't taste like manufacturing oils. You can see that after I put that lid on that some of that smoke is coming right out of the front there. We are so close. You can see the fire is going down just a little bit, but the charcoals are actually well lit now. Once the haystacks burn out, those big flames will go away and you'll just have lit charcoals, and a little bit of the wood will of course flare up from time to time. Go ahead here and shut the smoker down and let it run. Now throughout the process, I did check the temperature a couple of times and make sure that it was going up like it was supposed to. Came back in roughly about 4 hours and this is what we see. Charcoal is completely burned out and just a little bit of coals are left down the bottom. It's not very hot, but I'm going to use my Weber oven mitts and I'm going to go ahead and pull that bowl out of there and dump that out. There's no need to be in any hurry, but I wanted to use the smoker, so I thought the best thing to do was get that out of there so that way it would cool down. A cold smoker is essential for doing cheese, and that's what's next on the menu. Going to go ahead and put it back together in the normal configuration. Got that second grate that's going to go up on the very top. And of course, that is the prime cooking location. Place that top section on, give it a little twist, and it locks right in place. And then set the lid on, and it is ready to go. So that really is the whole process here, and it is simple as can be. So this smoker is ready to use, and like I just mentioned, cheese is the next thing on the menu. So check out the playlist and go from there and see if this smoker is going to do what you need it to do. I have to say that so far I'm pretty impressed with what I see. It is very lightweight, so if you're looking for something like really thick or heavy duty, then this might not be the best option. But if you're looking for something that's lightweight, that's very versatile, then I think you should check out the rest of this playlist. So let's go ahead and move on to the next video. If you're here a week after this video is published, you'll be going straight to the cheese video in the playlist right there. Now don't forget that there is affiliate links below. If you use those, I will get compensated. So not only am I an Amazon affiliate for this product, but I also have this product on my TikTok shop and on the manufacturer's direct website. I recommend that if you can use that website, that you do. It will ship through Amazon shipping. That's how I bought mine, because I'm outside of one of their warehouses, so I had to order it with normal shipping. But the cost was almost exactly the same, and if I have a discount code, you'll see it right next to the link to their website. And that again is Giantex, and that's where you'll find this product. So thanks for watching and have a great day.